there are so many challenges. We are in the middle of a perfect storm. We have piracy, which is an issue. We have the change of distribution mechanism, which is another issue. Which have the change of habits of our audiences, which is another issue. We have an economic crisis, which is another issue. We have the change in habits of going to films, which is another issue. I mean, cultural, social, anthropological. We have a lot of issues. That's why it's so exciting. It's a challenging times. 50 well-produced movies is better than 200 poorly produced movies. So figures are not always representative of the strength of a film industry. The good example about Spain, what has been proven very good, is that by law, televisions have to invest part of their income and earnings into the film industry, into the acquisition of film movies. In Argentina, that investment goes to the Film Institute, and then the Film Institute puts the money. In Spain, it goes to the acquisition of rights and this has proven really very important. But now we have a new law in Spain that has changed everything, and we don't know if that's going to be good or bad. There are some of us who think it's a bad law, and there are other people who think it's a good law. So we have to wait. This is the first year. And so far, Spain shouldn't be an example. They have cut the budgets for the support of films by, it was in the last 4 years, is less than 1/3 of what was before. We have not a good fiscal law to shoot in Spain. We are not we are definitely far away from Italy, France, UK, or Germany, which let's say they are the four, we are the fifth, they are the four above. We're far, far beyond them in their support and in the perception by the audience of the support. Also, the new law, in principle, apparently it seems that will support big movies for big audiences, which is good in a way, but at the same time, it may not support challenging movies that advance cinematography and create new talent. So we will see what happens. Unfortunately, one thing that is real is that legislation affects the capacity of one country to generate talent. We had a fantastic legislation until last year, and that meant that we had a whole generation of directors in horror. We had Amenábar, Bayonas, Almodóvar, a lot of people that came out from this generation, and also other upcoming very talented Vermouth, etc. And the older generation, my father, etc., continue working. So it was very positive, and the audience grew from 5% to almost 20%. So it was the results objectively were very good, but they changed it, and now we are in uncertain territories. I'm not an expert penalist. What I see is that some countries have restrictions on. For instance, Switzerland, we all love Switzerland because it's clean, etc. But if you throw a paper in the floor, 3 policemen come and they kick you and they send you to jail. And there are other countries in which you send a paper to the floor, nobody comes, and there are a lot of papers in the floor. I don't know. I'm not giving you a straight answer. What I'm saying, I am not a penalist, I am not an expert, but I think that a combination of repression and education is always positive. But so far, education only has not worked. Films were created as a means to bring people into a theater and had a great time. First they were silent, and there were musicians playing, and you had even people talking and reciting the film. Then sound came, things changed, then television came, and a lot of things changed. Then video came, and a lot of things changed. And people got to see more and more movies, and now we have another means of distribution, and people are watching movies like never before. We're watching a lot of movies, but maybe not in the theaters. So what has happened is that new forms of consumption is happening, and we have to be there. What cannot happen is that these new forms prevent having the money to produce the movies, because what has not changed from the very beginning is that you have to spend a lot of money in a very short time to produce a movie, and you will get the money back in a long period of time of exploitation. That hasn't changed. The equation, the financial equation of producing a movie is exactly the same now as when it was a silent movie or the Lumiere producing their movie. They had to pay for it first, they had spent a lot of money, and then they got the money back because they are screening. That hasn't changed. So how can we make sure that this part that is changing continues providing for the capacity to creators, producers, actors that are being paid for the work they do is the challenge we're facing. Legislation, control, education, and some repression. The issue with European cinema is not the quality. Quality is extraordinary. Of course, we have very bad movies, mediocre movies, and some very good movies. Here, at the selection, at the end, the movies that are very good. The issue is different because there are movies, some of them that are more challenging in the way they address the issues, or more difficult in the way that they deal with issues that are not as easy or audience friendly as others. There are a lot of types of movies, but the quality is not definitely not under discussion. The Europeans, we understand that the plurality, the diversity, and the challenge that the directors of European movies still have the possibility to bring forward are very good and very stimulating. It's not just format, one-sided, very clean, easy movies. We also have those in Europe, and they're working very well. The local comedies are working very well in all the territories. So, no, it's a good moment for European cinema. It's always been good. I mean, if you look at the list of the films awarded or nominated in this almost 30 years, it's amazing. The quality of the movies and the plurality and the diversity. Polish movies, Danish movies, Romanian movies, Spanish movies, Italian, German, French, English. From all over Europe, they have been awarded, and we have discovered how brilliant they are in the different territories. Europe is incredibly powerful in the creation. It's the perception that is wrong. It's the perception that, our movies are boring or whatever. That is what is destructive, because they are not, but they're challenging. They're most of the movies, the quality movies, they go for the brain and to the stomach, and they don't go to the easy watch. We have local comedies for that, or local movies, and they are great also.